All right, so what was it, huh? Stephenville, Texas is a farm town where when the sun goes down at night, the stars light up in the sky. And last week, witnesses claim they saw something hovering hundreds of feet above the ground, and they say they saw fighter jets, F-16s, chasing these mysterious objects. What gives? Pete Hardinger is the director of the Round Town UFO Society. He's in Circleville, Ohio. Sir, good morning to you.
Hello there.
You did not witness what's described in Texas, but if I told you the following, that they say it was a mile long and a half-mile wide, it was, quote, positively, absolutely nothing from these parts, what would you say?
Well, I'd have to decide it was an unidentified flying object. Then we're supposed to have some MUFON investigators go to Stephenville and investigate. I've been a member of the Mutual UFO Network for several years.
So you're going to go down there and check it out?
No, not myself. We have investigators in every state in the country, and so there'll probably be some local investigators.
Okay, what do the witnesses say? He watched it through his rifle's telescopic lens and describes it as a very large and without seams, nuts, or bolts. Have you heard a description like that before, Pete?
Yeah, there's been descriptions like that before. The so-called Phoenix Lights, years ago, they weren't flares and that. A huge object was first seen even by the governor of Arizona fly over. And that was a huge object at the time, so that's kind of similar, you might say.
By the way, on the screen, that's a superimposition there that we crafted up here from previous stories.
Officers happen to be there at the right time, at the right
well, if we saw that, that would be our lead story this morning. It would supersede Michigan, right? Now, Pete, back to the issue here. We are told that the illusion could have been created by two commercial airplanes. Lights from the aircraft would seem unusually bright and may appear orange from the setting sun. Does that explain this away?
It doesn't to me, but what will help is when the Mutual UFO Network investigators go and check it out, just like they did the O'Hare Airport deal, November of 2006. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait for the results of the investigation, but it does seem very interesting.
Pete Hardinger, thanks. Circleville, Ohio, on the telephone there, head of the Round Town UFO Society. By the way, Megan, 200 UFO sightings reported each month.
That's a big number, Bill.
Not just in a year or a decade, but each month.
You a believer?
Yeah.
You are not alone.
Thank you.
Just a few months ago, the Associated Press took a look at how many American adults think that UFOs do in fact exist. In addition to Bill Hemmer, there are many more. They found that more than a third of American adults are believers. Far fewer than that, however, have actually seen a UFO with their own eyes. See that? The poll shows that only 14% of adults have actually gotten a glimpse of a UFO at some point in their lifetime. Are you part of that group, Bill?
Maybe.
You think you've seen something?
What about you? I'm too busy editing this tease that we're about to read, and I want to make sure that it comes out the right way. About girls and puberty. Yeah, you're going to hear about that in a second, okay? UFO. There's got to be, you know when you're flying in an airplane, and there's just so much space up there and down below.
Yeah.
There's got to be something out there. When you get out in the countryside and you look up at those stars, they go forever. Galaxies out there much larger than ours.
All right, you're freaking me out now.
All right, well, that's what I'm doing.
Mystery of the unexplained.
I saw it between that telephone pole across the road and this one.
Dozens of eyewitnesses in a Texas town see something bright in the sky, and some call it a UFO. The military says there is a logical explanation for a UFO sighting by dozens of people in Stephenville.
But the witnesses are not quite buying that explanation, and most of the people in the Erath County community who say they saw it, no, they've subjected themselves to some ridicule. Fox 4's Jeff Crilly is live in Erath County right now with more. Jeff.
That's right. Dozens of people say they saw it, and yet there is no video, there are no still photographs of this thing. And now that this is international news, everybody in town has their camera phone ready. Erath County Constable Leroy Gayton says he has nothing to gain by going public with the story. In fact, if anything, he says a future political opponent could use it against him.
Between that telephone pole across the road and this pole above that tree line.
But he says last Tuesday night he saw something in the sky he still can't explain.
Glowing red. I mean glowing, burning red.
He tried to draw a sketch of what he saw. Lights that came and went and then suddenly flew across the sky at blinding speed.
It's not like I'm telling you people that I saw any kind of ship. I just saw some strange lights traveling at a high rate of speed, doing some things that I've never seen anything before in my life.
But what do you mean by an Army UFO? Well, where do you live?
Angela Joyner has written several front-page stories on the various sightings. She says she was somewhat skeptical when she wrote the first article, but not anymore.
The more people that I talk to, people that I have known around town, I'm from Stephenville, and, you know, they're coming forward and saying, look, I really saw this too. You know, what in the heck was it?
Steve Allen has been a private pilot for 30 years. He says the object he saw streaking across the sky was going several thousand miles an hour.
Do you think this could be a government aircraft somehow?
They wish they had an aircraft like that. They wish they had something like that. It's for one thing, it's speed. It travels in hoovering, and its cloaking abilities. It's not from around these parts. It was spread out. I mean, it was just...
Everyone who saw something is taking friendly ribbing from friends. But so many people independently reported seeing similar things that it's making even non-believers wonder if Stephenville, Texas became an extraterrestrial tourist stop. Of course, the Joint Naval Reserve Base in Fort Worth is flying missions all the time. They checked their schedule. They were not flying missions last Tuesday night over Stephenville. Their explanation, they think that perhaps a couple of commercial jets had their lights going and it just hit the atmosphere in a strange way and caused a weird glow over Stephenville. But the folks here aren't buying it. They say they saw what they saw.
Stephenville, Texas is a typical American small town. The folks here are proud of their high school's football team and proud to be the #1 dairy county in the state. Stephenville may be typical, but what's happening in the skies above it is a whole nother story.
It kind of is the talk of the town right now.
Angela Joyner is a reporter with the town's newspaper. She's now on the strangest and possibly the biggest story of her life. For days, people have been emailing and calling the newsroom saying they've seen a UFO.
It was very intense, bright lights. I keep hearing that over and over and over, and they spanned a wide area.
It's so fast when it took off, you know, and it made not a sound.
Ricky Sorrells was deer hunting in these woods when he says the UFO stopped and hovered just over his head.
And I did just like this, and I could see it. And if you'll look at the trees, you know, it's right here. I mean, it's 300 foot up, right here.
Sorrells thought about shooting at the object, but didn't want to start an interstellar war, so he lowered his gun and hightailed it back to the house. He still isn't sure what he saw.
I would like to think that it was man-made. I would like to think that. To know that, I don't know.
You see it right there, east-northeast. It's right here, right in this direction, right here. I saw it at about 70 degrees up from the horizon.
Jason Lee also saw the object, describing it as a bright light in the sky, brighter than a star and larger. It isn't the first time Lee has seen a UFO.
There it is right there.
In 1995, he took this video of what he says was a flying saucer over his hometown of Cleburne, Texas, and he believes this recent sighting was not of this earth.
What I thought it was obviously some technology from another dimension, another world. I don't know. I'm not going to say little green men.
According to the Mutual UFO Network, there are about 200 reported UFO sightings a month in the U.S. The network is sending investigators to look into these recent reports.